I'm gonna go to Nick first for best
For best in Ligue 1, I'm gonna say Lille, and I'm gonna caveat this by saying that they didn't really, perfectly replace Gabriel, who they sold to Arsenal. But I think, first of all, it's the Jonathan David thing. Like that sells it for me, right? The thing that they're really, really good at is turning over talent for whatever reason. They finally found the system that works to scout the young players and bring them in. So they got rid of Osterman. I don't know. I'm more impressed by the fact that they sold and replenished the talent than anything else, because I think that's just really hard for a team of that size. And they brought in someone. I can't bloody remember his name. The center back that they brought in from Herenveen. I think it is Sven Botman. Yeah.
Oh, Sven Botman. Yep.
Yep.
He can also play right back.
Yep. And sorry, they brought him from Ajax. We played for Herenveen last season. I actually really like that move. Because he's not really he's not going to rip up trees. He's not as good as Gabriel was, but I think he's going to replace him in a very solid way. So look out for him to be to get minutes and to be pretty solid overall. But I think that it's just the fact that they kept the core of a great squad together. They brought in Yilmaz of all players, who not the greatest striker, and he's old as dirt. But when they're really good at keeping players alive and doing well. So I like what Lille did.
That was more replacement for Loic Remy, I believe.
Yeah.
Remy leaving because he went to the Turkish league and then Burak Yilmaz came
the other way. Yeah. So I don't know. They brought in some really older players, but they also it's just that they kept the core of a good young side together.
Yeah. And they're you can say they had a great window because they sold Osimhen for so much. You could just say that, and replace them with two players, one who's very experienced and is going to get you goals, and someone who has an incredibly high ceiling, and that they will be able to sell on in Jonathan David.
Definitely. I mean, Jonathan David will probably be the next in that line of buy, sell. Because the impressive thing was that they sold Nicola Pepe, who scored 22 goals for them, and then they still turned it over and brought in Osimhen and still were competitive. And they do the same thing and they bring in Jonathan David. Now, I really, really like Jonathan David because he's just a very dynamic, useful forward, and I really like what the front line looks like now. Just all around, there's a lot of just really great, fun players to watch. You got Bamba, Ikone on the other side. It's going to be very fun to watch them, and that's probably why I'm so bullish on their window, just because I know they're going to be a good watch.
Another thing about Lille is that they bought majority ownership of the SAD in Boavista, so that's their official satellite club now. So they'll be able to send young guys over there to play in Portugal, like an Angel Gomez and stuff like that. Yeah. Angel Gomez, Leonardo.
Because they bought him and loaned him over to him. And so he'll long term, we'll see how he works out. But I think he'll do really well at Boavista. So
I know.
They signed him on a free and then loaned him, which is even better business.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he was a free agent.
But Seth, what do you got for your best?
Quick shout out to RC Lon. I think bringing back Gael Kakuta is one of the most beautiful romantic moves I've ever seen. He's been great. He takes their penalties. They win a lot of penalties, and he scores them. They also signed Seiko Fofana, who used to play for Manchester City. I think he's actually a great midfielder. He's been super consistent for Udinese for 3 seasons now. He's only 25, but they spent 12 million on him, which is a good investment from a promoted team who has intent of staying up. They beat PSG. They look good. They have an incredibly solid back line. And I think Arcelon are going to be one to watch. Watch them go down now. But my actual choice would be Leon. And
really?
Weird, but it's because of the players they were able to keep and the players they were able to sell, not because they really signed anyone specific. They were able to shift on Bertrand Traore, who really hasn't had a sniff in a long time, but they were also able to keep Awar and Memphis Depay. So I don't know how that happened, but they were able to do it. They still have Dembele. They still have what is his name? Hold on. The right back.
Dubois.
Dubois. They still have Leo Dubois, who I think is honestly a sellable asset. He had such a good season. They got rid of Marsal, who I think is like maybe the most surplus to requirements wingback I've ever seen in my life. They just got rid of him basically. And I'm just saying, it's Lyon. There has to be a young French left-sided player somewhere in their youth system that they'll be able to replace Marsal with. I know it's a bold shout. I just wanted to say it because I think
I'm more inclined to put them in the losers. Because they didn't sell.
I think I saw that coming a little bit, that you were going to put them in the losers, but I just think like after the Champions League campaign they had, putting the names of these players out there as being these world-class players is going to attract a fee. You know, it's going to attract fees for Memphis and Awar, but they weren't going to get very much money for them this window. I just think that's like an established
maybe, but
thing.
I don't know if their stock will ever be higher. I don't know if their stock will ever be higher at Lyon because of the Champions League. You know, like you can put like because there's actually interest in Awar, there's interest in Memphis, so you want to get them. You know, you want to offload them now. So that's where I come in because I don't know if from like I think that maybe because I just trust them to be able to turn over talent and find the next guy. And because that's what Lyon have always done. That's their model. So if maybe it's just because I like to see Lyon sell and turn it over, and that's why I'm being a little bit harsh. But I think maybe it might have been time to let go of Awar. I don't know. I just like he's gonna do well for them. Like both the players, the fact they kept them, they'll probably turn around and have a good season. I think they probably sorted out the issues with the defense. But I mean, like, there's that niggling thing in me that thinks that like it's time to move on to the next project for him. I don't know. Jigs up on that. You could say I'm wrong.
They also lost Weary, who I think is a really like interesting and exciting talent, and he went to a rival. He went to Nice.
Yep.
And they also
and I think that was a mistake. I think that was a big mistake.
But I have to say, selling Martin Terrier, who has never shown that he's going to be a world beater. He had a lot of hype around him when he was like 18 years old. Selling him for $12 million in Ligue 1 to a rival, getting $12 million off a rival, that's a great deal. But also, I know Lucas Paqueta was a little bit of a flop at Milan, but it has been shown that when Lyon bring in an attacking midfielder who is a little bit on that fringes, he usually turns out to be ridiculous.
That's why it would have been good to sell. Like if you sell Awar and you bring in Paqueta, then I mean you still have Kake.
Yeah, I think Awar and Paqueta are a little bit of different models of players, but I think Lyon will be fine, and I hope that they can push up towards the Champions League places with keeping Awar and Memphis. But I'm sure you have a very good case for someone else.
All right, and for my best, I'm just going to keep it simple and say PSG.
What? Oh, no.
They got much older and much younger at the same time, I guess. Mario Cardi, Alessandro Florenzi, Rafinha, Danilo Pereira, and Moise Kean. That's who they brought in. I mean, I guess it helps the club out. There's really nothing else in Liga, and that's really great when it comes to good windows. But I think this is one of the better ones. It's not horrible. It could have been better, but
I think relative to their situation, they're my number one loser. Like because like seriously.
Come on, Nick. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You're losers now.
All right. Well, look. First of all, every single player that they brought in, with the exception of Mauro Icardi, which was a deal agreed before the window, was on loan. So that's their first red flag, that they didn't spend any money, and it's PSG not spending any money. That's the first red flag. The second thing is that Tuchel and Leonardo are having ish. Like there is a serious beef between the two over the summer, over the fact that what Tuchel wants for the team is not what Leonardo wants for the team. And I also think they haven't strengthened. And this is a team that were just in a Champions League final. And I think that they've got a little bit weaker. If you see some of if there is one injury, I think that their goal of winning the Champions League is kind of gone kaput. Because Di Maria is another year older. Di Maria is your main guy for linking up and like chance creation, besides like Neymar. But like Neymar, you want further forward anyway. So, and then they didn't really fix the problems with the defense. You let go of Thiago Silva, and you let go of some of your very, very young, promising guys like Aushish and Tanguy Kouassi to Bayern. So there's that, because Tuchel was having issues with the fact that a lot of the young, like really promising talent is going, which is an issue with PSG. Like guys like Diaby were gone, guys like Nkunku, like they get rid of them and it comes back.
Edouard, Akone.
Yep.
There's many others as well.
Kingsley Coman scoring against them in the Champions League final. So that was like a problem, and it seems that it's going to come to a head because Aushisa started well. The fact that in that defense that just lost Thiago Silva and they're letting Kouassi go, like that's suspect. Like that, because that's a big hole opening up, and guys like Diallo will come and fill it. But Kimpembe and Marquinhos haven't started as well as they finished last season, so I'm unsure about that. The squad looks older. The midfield isn't quite balanced enough because it's Verratti and Gay, and then after that, there's just a bunch of defensive-minded midfielders. Even Rafinha coming in is actually last season excelled more defensively than he did attacking in the attack.
Draxler would really be the only.
Yeah, and Draxler is clearly on his way out with 1 year left on the deal on his contract. So when I look at them and I look at who they were looking at the start of the summer, like they were looking at left back targets, Reguilon, Telles, and they were looking at really just overall strengthening the side. They were looking at Allen, and now Allen's gone to Everton. And I just think that they've lost the joined up thinking. I still think they'll walk away with Ligue. Like that's a minimum requirement for them. And I think that long term, I think this is the last real year you're going to get of Neymar, Mbappe, and whoever else is the third guy in that attack, be it Di Maria, Icardi. So I think this is the last year that you're really going to have that side together, and it's not as strong as it was last year. The loss of Thiago Silva cannot be understated. So that's my case for them. I don't know. I just think that they didn't really go out and fix what they need to fix. Moise Kean is not a replacement for Edinson Cavani. That much is clear. So that's why I just think
they did start today in their game against Angers. They won 6-1.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll do what they want to do, which is win the Champions League.
Against Nimes, they won 4-0.
Mm-hmm. So.
But Nîmes is very different to Bayern Munich or, later in the season.
So I think Tuchel will be gone by the end of the season. And I think it's due
I hope he leaves because I want to see him manage a team that's not PSG.
I want to see him take on a project that's really exciting because that's what he can do. But, yeah, who knows? So that's my case.
To finish up, Rob, I don't know if you have another case for the worst in Ligue 1, but I had a feeling you might want to talk about Benfica just to round off the episode to end.
Yes.
Yes, I really watched